have recommended, ways to clean up that product or to clean up the surfaces. And then on the right-hand side, we have some recommended items. And really, we kind of take you through the whole school. So this one is dedicated towards like computer labs, classrooms, and the music room. Lots of touch points in all these different areas, from doorknobs to remote controls to desks to how we get items away, right? Nobody wants to touch anything anymore. And even with garbage cans, a lot of people are going with touch-free garbage cans. And when I say touch-free, I'm just talking about open-top garbage cans, nothing with doors on them. Next slide, Katie. So common areas is the next one. How you clean your entryways and your lobbies. We know that this virus can be transmitted, via your feet. So you really want to use, disinfectant, clean the floors, making sure that they are clean. The common areas, right? So common areas, when I think of common areas, I'm thinking of office spaces. I'm thinking of the main entry areas, but also you have to think about teacher lounges as well. Talking to several schools, music rooms are going to be turned into classrooms. Cafeterias are going to be turned into classrooms. Gymnasiums are going to be turned into classrooms as well. So that way the schools can get these social distances. A new way of thinking, but I think we have the right solutions for a lot of the problems that you could be looking into, or we've already been working through that since schools are actually starting to open up in the South, and we are starting to get ahead of this before our schools open up in the next couple of months. Next slide, please. So again, this is a continuation of common area checklists. Libraries, several schools have said that they're not going to open up the libraries. Even local municipalities haven't opened up their libraries yet. A lot are going digital. Some schools have contacted and let us know that they're going to turn the libraries into classrooms. So how do you disinfect the books? How do you disinfect all the general, typically libraries have open tabletops and chairs, not usually desks, so you can fit more people at there. You have to space that out, and also there's a lot of touch points in a library. When you touch a book, what do you do with it? Do you put it back on the shelf, or does it get put on a stand so it can be cleaned later on if it's not being checked out? So these are all different items that before we've never had to think about, and now we're struggling to find solutions for this. And I know the schools are struggling to find solutions. So the best thing we can do is come up with recommendations, and if there's any individual questions you have afterwards, my contact information will be at the last slide, where you can email us directly. We can definitely help you out with this. Next slide, Katie. So if you are going to use your cafeteria, for feeding, this is something, again, we've come up with different ways for you to use and sanitize your facility using disposable microfiber. Disposable microfiber has been a great solution to the industry. People don't want to wash, regular microfiber. They rather dispose of it. And if you don't have a way to wash your microfiber, then disposable microfiber will be it's definitely a key product that you could use to help sanitize your areas. And again, this checklist would be great for your housekeepers to use. That way they can actually, when they are in the cafeteria, they can use this to actually clean their facility. Next slide, please. So again, a continuation of the cafeteria. Next slide, please. So restroom cleaning is always going to be an issue, right? How do we make sure that that's cleaned appropriately? You have the different touch points. If you're going to socially distance in the classroom, we also recommend that you socially distance in the restroom as well. I've been seeing more and more where, especially when you talk about urinals in bathrooms, where every other urinal is taped off, because if you're going to socially distance in the classroom, in the hallways, then you should also socially distance in the restroom. Again, cleaning the mirrors, cleaning the faucets, cleaning the countertops, okay? Using spray bottles to use this, having toilet brushes to clean the different, toilets and urinals that are in the facility. And also color coding. When you're in your restroom, you should not use the same color code in the food service area that you're using in the restroom. There's that perception that, you're cross-contaminated. So just keep that in mind as well. We have all different types of microfiber cloths, different colors that you could use to color code your facility. Next slide, please. So again, just some more things to take into consideration. Okay. Next, please. So this next slide is a really cool slide because it talks about all the different high touch areas, and we have it broken down. So the items to think about, the light switches, the door knobs, the door handles, the entryways, the pens that you're going to be using, clipboards that you could be using, magic markers that you could be using, balls in the gym. So all these different touch points all have to be wiped down, and so there's no cross-contamination, and several people aren't using the same product. Again, a new way of thinking. I've been in this business for 15 years. We've never had this, before, and we definitely are on the leading edge, though, of providing solutions for you to make sure that you have a safe environment for everybody within your facility. Next slide, please. And here's a list of recommended items that we have for you that we've broken down. Obviously, we have over 7,000 different products in our catalog. You can go on our website. We have online catalog. We have a resource center. You can contact your Hill & Marks salesperson, and they can definitely provide some solutions with you. And I definitely look forward to working with you in the future. That's all I have, Katie.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for that presentation, JP. Well, JP's company focuses on a lot of the tools. Diversey's main focus really is on hard surface disinfection. So we're going to talk about hard surface disinfection today. So the ongoing cleaning and disinfection is broken into two parts. The daily cleaning and disinfection from the cleaning staff, that's really the traditional cleaning methods. That's the labor force, their products that they use, and the processes that they put into place to clean their facilities. Number two, and this is going to be a little bit of a, in my opinion, an X factor moving through the pandemic. This is going to be the in-classroom protocol. This is the teachers and the students taking an ownership of the situation and taking it upon themselves to be somewhat educated, the general population be somewhat educated, and what spreads the pathogens around the community. If you can move the slide forward. Dr. Charles Gerber in 2014 came out with a study that found that they could reduce absenteeism in school if they would just disinfect, students would just disinfect their desks once a day. Now that's a very powerful that when the community comes together and uses these products in a K-12, they can really make an impact, because the daily cleaning staff only has so much power. If you could move the next slide, please. Now, as far as what we're actually disinfecting, there's two, and this is a little disinfection 101. There are two types of viruses out there. The non-envelope viruses, or the neuroviruses, the rhinoviruses, these are more difficult to kill, and they are far less susceptible to most disinfectants. And the envelope viruses, which COVID-19 is actually an envelope virus, and it is very easy to kill on a hard surface. The envelope viruses are your traditional HIVs, herpes. The issue that a lot of school districts are running into now is that, and they've used a lot of cheaper disinfectants in the past, and a lot of cheap disinfectants have not been able to touch the non-envelope viruses. So a lot of 10-minute quats have not been able to touch the neurovirus or the rhinovirus. And a lot of schools are now looking at their disinfection program, to really cover a wider swath of pathogens that these disinfectants can handle. Next slide, please. So the disinfectant product that Diversey has had a lot of success with is its accelerated hydrogen peroxide line. And the accelerated hydrogen peroxide line is unique. And Oxivir, which is the specific product that I'm talking about, falls underneath that. So Oxivir is actually an excellent cleaner when compared to a lot of other quaternarium-based disinfectants out there. And having a hard surface, you cannot disinfect a hard surface when it is soiled. So when you have a good cleaner built into your disinfectant, it makes it a better disinfectant overall. Accelerated hydrogen peroxide also has realistic contact times, and it has these realistic contact times on a broader spectrum of pathogens that it kills. So instead of the traditional quat-based disinfectant has a 10-minute kill time, a lot of accelerated hydrogen peroxide have anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes. And having these realistic contact times are extremely important because I hate to keep picking on the 10-minute quats, but most of the time these 10-minute quats dry out on a hard surface before they've had time to do their jobs. And so what you would need to do to make sure that that contact time was successfully completed is you would have to wet it down again once and sometimes maybe twice, depending on how fast that disinfectant dries. Most cleaning staff do not have the time to do this or do not have the education to know that they need to do this. So having a disinfectant that you can lay down once and know that it's going to do its job also makes it overall in the real world, not by the metrics of 1 minute to 5 minute to 10 minute, overall in the real world, have the time to do its job properly. Now, Oxivir is actually much safer. So in our last slide, we talked about the in-class protocol, teachers and students. This is a disinfectant that you could give to the general population. It has an HMS-IS rating of 0 across the board. So that's 0 for safety, 0 for flammability, and 0 for general reactivity. This is one of the only disinfectants that has this wide of a pathogen kill claim and also has this 0 rating. It is also extremely, when compared to a lot of quaternarium disinfectants, it's also very responsible for the environment. It just dissipates, once the disinfectant has done its job, it just dissipates into oxygen and water. So there's not a lot of environmental concerns with this disinfectant running into the sewer system or anything like that. It just does its job and it dissipates mostly off into the air. Next slide, please. So we talked about in the last slide how Oxivir has a realistic contact time. Now this slide is very powerful, and there's a lot of other disinfectants that accelerated hydrogen peroxide competes against, and pretty much all of them have a quicker drying time than they do a disinfecting contact time. So to be in compliance with all these other disinfectants, you would have to make sure that your staff was re-wetting these surfaces down until that 10 minutes was met. Accelerated hydrogen peroxide is the only one where you can wet a surface, walk away, and be confident that that disinfectant did its job. Now, next slide, please. Now, due to a lot of the challenges in our supply chain, Oxivir was released in a bulk format. So Oxivir itself, the disinfectant, we have the ability to, we have multiple manufacturing plants in North America. We have the ability to make that disinfectant all day long. But due to some challenges and some packaging substrates, we've been agile with the market. Us and Hill & Marks have come together to offer these bulk solutions. So the first one is a 330-gallon tote. most people, this would be too much, but it is an option that's out there. It is drop shipped through Hill & Marks. It comes direct from our factory and is dropped on your dock. Whenever you are done with that tote, we will come and pick it up too. So it is drop shipped, and comes in our Oxivir TB. So Oxivir TB has a 1-minute kill claim across the board. That includes coronavirus. It has all the advantages that we've talked about with Oxivir, the safety ratings, the contact time, and it's in a ready-to-use format, so there's no diluting required. Next slide, please. So Oxivir TB RTU is our 55-gallon drum. You can get this through Hill & Marks on a 155-gallon drum basis, or you can order it in a pallet quantity, drop ship directly from the factory through Hill & Marks. This is also Oxivir TB, so all the advantages of Oxivir TB, just in this format that might be more realistic to some. Next slide, please. So I would say Oxivir TB in the 5-gallon PAL has probably been our most successful bulk offering. It's the same product as in the other three. You can get this in pallet quantities direct from the factory, or Hill & Marks has a substantial amount in stock. So if a pallet is too much for you, you could take it in pallet quantities, and you would just reach out to your local Hill & Marks rep to facilitate that. But as I mentioned before, Oxivir TB is really our best Oxivir disinfectant out there. 1-minute kill claims pretty much across the board. Tuberculosis claim at 5 minutes, and a fungicidal claim at 10 minutes. So coronavirus, this will dry in about 3 to 4 minutes, closer to 5, and it will have killed the coronavirus within that 1-minute mark. Next slide, please. So a lot of people out there in the marketplace are used to using Oxivir 516. That's probably been the most popular format of Oxivir out there. So really what we did to deal with our substrate shortage is we released Oxivir 516 in 5-gallon pails, and we have the what we call the Optimus dispenser, and the Optimus dispenser is a 1-button unit that is at that 1 to 16 dilution rate, which Oxivir 516 is dispensed at, and this will be effective against COVID at 5 minutes. And you're looking at and the advantages of this is, one, it is a dilutable product. So in that 5-gallon pail, you have a lot more product. And 2, the per cost quart of this is a lot more competitive because it is that diluted product. So I really just wanted to go through these bulk options with you guys on this call, just to make you aware that there are options out there for you to be agile as you open up your schools and open up your facilities come this fall. Next slide, please. So beyond the disinfectants, Diversey and Hill & Marks also have UV technology available. This is a very portable unit. It's effective against pretty much all pathogens on hard surface at 3 minutes. It has a lot of redundant safety features built into it. And the nice thing about it too is it's a very small unit, so it's very transportable. So you can move it through different classrooms and run disinfection in between classes. This is not meant to replace hard surface disinfection. This is meant to be another layer of defense. So one thing to note about UV technology in general is a surface, just like disinfecting, a surface needs to be properly cleaned before it is disinfected. So this will not be able to disinfect a soiled surface. Another thing about UV technology, and that's why this has the arms on it, and those arms are, they're very mobile. You can move them around, twist them and turn them in a lot of different directions. There's 3 of them to reduce the amount of shadows. And shadows generally are UV technology. So UV technology is kind of a 1 or 0 type thing. And what I mean by that is you're either getting all of the disinfection power or you're getting none of the disinfection power. So where this UV light is hitting is disinfecting those surfaces, and where there are shadows, it is not disinfecting those surfaces. So we call it the martini pattern. It's shown on this sheet right here. And that's how you would disinfect a room or an area to reduce the amount of shadows that are in that room. So all these products are available to you to help you guys to open up. Reach out to any of your Hill and Marks people. They're all well versed in these product categories, and they would be happy to help you. I just want to thank everybody for your time and attention throughout this, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. Thanks, JP. Certainly appreciate your partnership and your efforts in supporting us on this webinar and getting information not only to the people on this call, but I know you've both supported us in the field and made on-site visits as well. You know, jokingly started out at the beginning of the call introducing myself and introducing my colleague to the right here, Alan Neufeld. Alan brings tremendous amount of janitorial experience, and he's spent a number of years working as a VP of JanSan here at Hill and Marks, and he's continuing to work as a consultant with us through this pandemic. He and I have got a very strong background when it comes to chemicals in general, not only the chemicals themselves, but also the process and the procedures. So I'm going to turn it over to Alan. He's going to go through some planning steps that you all can take, and then he and I will kind of, you know, tweak what we've got in place here, because there has been some redundancy, which is to be expected, because we are trying to make sure that we're following the CDC guidelines. So Alan, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Joe. I'm sure many of you heard so many of the things you're going to hear today so many times, but that's okay, because redundancy and repetition is an excellent way for education as well. And we're going to get to that a little bit, as education is a focal point here at Hill and Marks. Training is a big word here. So one of the things I'd like to do is start with a quick, I also want to say thank you very much to Luke and to JP, 2 very strong partner manufacturers with Hill and Marks, and excellent to work with. I'll start off with a little statement here from the CDC. In reference to cleaning and disinfecting schools, they say that this guidance that we're going to go through a little bit today is intended for those who are running a school to ensure the cleanliness and safety of the people involved. And that's the students, the administrative staff, the teaching staff, the cleaners. Reopening America requires all of us to move forward together by practicing social distancing and other daily habits to reduce our risk of exposure to the virus that causes COVID-19. Reopening the country also strongly relies on public health strategies, including increased testing of people for the virus, social distancing, isolation, and keeping track of how someone infected may have infected other people. Reducing the risk of exposure to COVID-19 by cleaning and disinfection is an important part of reopening public spaces that will require careful planning. The virus that causes COVID-19 can be killed if you use the right products. That's an extremely important point. I'm not going to go any further into the CDC guidelines and statements. You can all download that, get a hold of that information on the CDC website, and I highly recommend it. In such a short time of an hour today, it's a pretty short time to deliver such important messages. Now, our goal today at Hill & Marks is to show you that manufacturers and distributors alike, especially Hill & Marks, are laser focused on getting information to you so that you and your schools will present and maintain a healthy environment. We have many options of world-class suppliers. We deal with the best because we want to bring you the best. As your distributor, we're dedicated to bring you information that is gathered by professionals, tested by professionals, and instructed by professionals. The information does repeat itself, but as I said, repetition is very important and it's essential in educating. So now this slide, it shows you that there are 3 important guidelines that are put forward by the CDC. There are 3 steps. 1 is to develop your plan, 2 is to implement it, and 3 is to maintain and revise it. So in developing the plan, you need to determine what needs to be cleaned. Areas unoccupied for 7 or more days needs only routine cleaning. Maintain existing cleaning practices for outdoor areas as well. Determine how areas will be disinfected. Consider the type of surface and how often, as both JP and Luke mentioned, how often the surface is touched. Prioritize disinfecting frequently touched areas. Consider the resources and equipment needed. Keep in mind the availability of cleaning products and personal protective equipment appropriate for cleaners. 2 is to implement, to add to this. Developing a plan. Proper cleaning and disinfection requires training and developing a plan. And many of you know the phrase SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. Extremely important to develop an SOP. And we can help you. We have a very sophisticated system to do that, and we'll get to that in a couple of minutes. As we work on the decisions that will affect so many people with regard to reopening schools, there are some things that we're certain can help to keep all people safe. Those, again, are personal hygiene, social distancing, regular and complete hand washing, the use of sanitizer, use of PPE, all PPE, masking up, and taking of temperature on a regular basis. In developing your plan, your SOP, those things should be considered. Proper cleaning and disinfection. Implement. When you have the standard operating procedure, you need to implement the procedures. Visibly dirty surfaces should be cleaned with soap and water. Well, when we say soap and water, it's just an easy way of saying that if it's a loose dirt, simple dirt to remove from a hard surface, you can use some sort of a surfactant. You can use some sort of a neutral cleaner. Something to take dirt off the surface. Always follow directions on the labels. Make sure that the SDS information is available in a binder in a nearby place for everybody. So the first responders can always make an assessment of the situation quickly, consulting that SDS, whether it be on a label first, an SDS sheet, an SDS, without repeating sheet, should be available and close by. And then, everybody and anybody can be a first responder. That's critical. So the steps are important and we can help with that. It all goes through in the training. First step would be to read the label, find out some of the precautions and what has to happen. And number 3 is maintain and revise. That means if there's any changes that need to be made, because we know things have changed so fast in our own lives in the past number of months, that things are going to change when you're using chemicals, disinfectants or cleaners, or when you're using equipment, whether it be advanced technology, whatever, anything and everything changes. So we have to be prepared to bounce and weave. When we need to make a move, we need to make a move. So we have to, I think the key there would be to constantly keep reviewing your practices and your products that you're using. So could we move to the next slide, please? Guidance from the CDC also, making your plan to clean and disinfect. Is the area indoors? Is the area outdoors? There are ways to handle it, ways to approach, whether you're indoors or outdoors. The creation of a plan is all important. We want to make the point to you without going through so much of the reading of these slides, which are going to be available to you all. This is a basic slide that talks about the importance of making a plan to clean and disinfect. So once that SOP is produced, needs to be shared. It's also a very good thing to have an SOP so that cleaning personnel can be cross-trained. You're not always doing the same job, and they can easily be able to consult an SOP and find out what their tasks will be. increased touch point awareness. You saw a slide similar to this in on JP's presentation. This represents a classroom. It's repetitive but important. The areas that need to be disinfected, cleaned and disinfected on a regular basis, at least daily. Telephones, computers, electronics, desks, waste bins, chairs, switches, all handles and push plates, tabletops, any hand contact and high contact areas, all handles and push plates, all dispensers. Dispensers are important. Somebody's touching a dispenser. Somebody's got to change the paper. So all the things that we've been talking about, there's a picture of the room, picture of the items that need to be disinfected on a regular basis.
I just want to reiterate, and I'm not going to go into too much more detail of it for the sake of time, because I do want to make sure that we have enough time to communicate with you guys and have some interaction here, because if you see the last bullet point here, we do need your input. It is very, very important for us to make sure that we as a company and we as sales professionals and we as a purchasing team, and I certainly don't want to steal Bill Miller's thunder because I know he's going to go through some supply chain issues, but it's really crucial for us to get a good understanding of what you guys are looking for your facilities. Schools are not a cookie cutter. Everybody's going to have a different floor substrate. Everybody's going to have a different type of desk. It may be porous, it may be non-porous. You may be looking to serve your kids in a cafeteria. You may be looking for expansion into a gymnasium. And really, I think Governor Cuomo has put that in place so that all of you can develop your plans towards a safe reopening. So we're really here to try to help support that effort and make sure that you guys are getting the support that you need from us as a local distributor and as a local company. I don't want to speak for Jason, but I will. When I say that the number one thing and the number one area of concern for us as an organization is to make sure that everybody is safe. It starts with our employees, and it certainly has spilled over into the communities. And now that the schools are starting to phase back in and look to reopen, we want to make sure that our children are safe, all of your faculty and staff is safe as well. So the important thing of a plan is to make sure that it is adaptable. So the one thing that's consistent with the pandemic is that it's brought a lot of changes. Every one of your school districts, they've had a plan in place. They've had their standard operating procedures, and they've done it really well and very successfully for a tremendous amount of time. But the COVID-19 has certainly thrown a monkey wrench not only into K-12, but higher education, healthcare, and everything alike. And that's why you see so much redundancy when we talk about these programs, because a lot of it does overlap. And one of the things that we have done from a company standpoint is develop the Hill and Marks Institute to help with that. And really what the Hill and Marks Institute is a series of web-based training sessions that are more process and procedure exclusive rather than product exclusive. It's not designed to promote a Diversey or a Rubbermaid, and certainly no disrespect to Luke or JP, because they are tremendous partners of ours. But there is a tool for every one of your needs, and it's about making sure that you have the right things in place to do the job. So that is a series of online sessions for you or your staff to participate in, and there are also our site visits that are available within that program. So we are here to help you, whether that be with PPE needs, temperature scanners, product trainings, alternative solutions. The pandemic has created so many supply chain issues that I know Bill is going to touch on, but they are real, and we're living through them every day, and every day presents a new challenge. Pay special attention to your floor care. I don't think it's said often enough is that, a floor surface is one of the dirtiest things that's going today. So make sure that that's being properly taken care of. It goes without saying to make sure that your restrooms are up to snuff. You have proper hand hygiene in place for all of them. Social distance signage and social distancing signs. Make sure that those are placed throughout the schools to encourage the best practice. It's only going to enhance the safety of everybody within the districts. And hand care, hand care, hand care. Everybody wants to talk about hand sanitizer, and yes, that's important, but it starts with proper hand washing and making sure that those elements are in place as well. So with that, Bill, I'm going to turn it over to you to help talk a little bit about the supply chain, some of the new things that we've brought into stock to help these folks out. And please, at the end of the call, make sure that if you have any questions, let us know, because like I said, your feedback is crucial to everything we're doing here today.
Great, thank you, Joe. So I'll just introduce myself quickly. I am Bill Miller, the Vice President of Purchasing here at Hill & Marks. I am going to take you through really just a handful of items and really just give you an update on supply chain, as Joe had said, and I'm guessing you could take from what the others have said regarding supply chain. There's been tremendous increase in usage across the entire country, across international, really, on some of these items. And manufacturers have really struggled to keep up with demands. Lead times have been extended, and in some cases, they're just not even available. We're not getting clear direction on when products will be available. So we really want to make you all aware of that, because we have had challenges securing products, some specific products. But fortunately, as a team, and we've been going through this really since the end of February, early March, we've been able to come up with a variety of solutions that will help all of you once schools start to open back up. So next slide, please, Clay. So first, yeah, you've probably seen in the news, we've experienced it. There's been a shortage of wipes in the market, Clorox wipes, Lysol wipes. Luke mentioned the Diversey wipes. So what we have been able to do is we've gone out and we have secured large amounts of product of these wipe systems here. You can see several of them up on the screen, where you were able to add your own chemical solution. Make sure you're following the manufacturer's guideline regarding the dwell times for the disinfectant. You can, in essence, make your own wipe. This is something that, as you're talking to your Hill & Marks sales representative, you're going to want to talk to them about if you were using a Clorox wipe or wipes in general in your schools, because they're very hard to come by. And I believe Luke had mentioned it. It's really the substrate, the product that they're using to make the wipe itself that has really run into short supply. In some cases, I've heard too, the buckets, the canisters are also in short supply. So there's just a vast amount of shortages of products and supply out in the marketplace. So again, we've been focusing on solutions here over the last several months, and now that all of you are getting ready to bring back students and faculty and teachers back to the schools, we want to make sure you're aware of them so that you're keeping your places disinfected and safe for everyone there. So these are some options here, and again, as Joe mentioned prior and Alan mentioned prior, our sales reps are very well versed in these now, and can help accommodate really any of your questions. Next slide, please. So hand sanitizer and dispensers. So Purell, I'll say that Purell has run into huge manufacturing issues over the last several months, really dating back all the way to January, is where we started to have conversations with them about the shortages that they were starting to experience. So we have pivoted again. We've started to work with several companies that we feel are trusted partners to Hill & Marks. So we do have bulk dispensing options for you. We have bulk dispensers, as you can see on the right-hand side, that are both touchless or touch dispensers, as well as a pole-mounted unit that we will have in stock. I will just urge all of you, and I believe Joe mentioned this a bit prior, in terms of supply, there is a finite supply of a lot of these products right now. We continue to source, we continue to bring in, we have built up a bit of a supply right now. We know that supply is not going to last, and from an order standpoint, the sooner that we know you have needs, we will help to make sure that those needs are met well before students arrive back in September. So we have a couple of options here from a bulk standpoint. I do want to point out the one on the left, and if you have a Hill & Marks representative, hopefully they've already talked to you about this. We do have custom labeling options. So if you wanted to put your school logo on custom bottles, there's no additional charge for that. There is a minimum order run, but no additional charge. this is something that you can talk to your service rep about. This particular product is made by a chemical company here right in the state of New York. They are based in Saratoga. We're happy to be partnering with them and also taking portions of the proceeds of that of those sales and giving them back to charities. It's something that we're doing as an organization. If you are looking for Purell, we do have a certain number of bottles. The small bottle towards the center, it's a 16-ounce bottle that we are carrying right now. We were able to secure some of that from Purell. So we do have some Purell in-house, and if you are a Purell customer currently, we are working with Purell to make sure that you are staying in stock on your standard supply. They are challenged to take on new business right now, which is why we are looking to more of a bulk dispenser right now if you have needs for that. Next slide, please, Chloe. PPE, you've heard PPE mentioned a couple times on this call. You might not have thought of Hill & Marks as a place to secure PPE. I'm happy to say that we have been able to secure a tremendous amount of PPE over the last 4 months and have really been satisfying a lot of our customer needs. We have adult 3-ply masks that are FDA approved in-house regularly. We keep that as a normal stock item. We will also be carrying children's masks that will be available in the middle of August. I urge you, if that is going to be a need for your district, to please reach out to us. There is a long lead time on those. Again, we have built some supply up, but every time that supply runs out, we're looking at roughly a 4 to 6 week lead time before we are fully able to replenish that. KN95 masks we also carry. N95 are in extremely short supply right now. Again, it's all over the news. I'm sure many of you have already experienced this, that they are hard to come by. We are carrying an FDA approved KN95 mask that we have in stock. And this is for many of your needs. This would be a very good solution as a replacement of our N95 mask. And then lastly, from a mask perspective, on the bottom left, you can see we are in process right now of bringing in a see-through mask that allows the person wearing the mask to have their mouth exposed. I shouldn't say exposed, visible to the people they are speaking with. That is a anti-fog piece of plastic that they are able to wear. That is a 1-ply disposable mask. Again, very long lead times on those, but we will have those in mid to late August and available for your districts. Face shields are something we are carrying now. We are keeping consistent stock on those, as well as goggles, and even gowns, bouffants, and booties. We are also keeping stock of those as well. Again, these are things that we have in stock. When we do see a surge on orders, which we have seen sporadically over the last couple of months, it does take us about roughly 7 to 10 days on some of that PPE to get back in stock. But with a little advance notice, we've been doing a really good job staying in stock for all of our customers on this. Next slide, please. Temperature check and hands-free stations. Again, just kind of tied to all things COVID related right now. We do have in stock an infrared thermometer that held within 1 to 3 inches of the person's forehead. You will give an accurate reading for temperature. And we also have this infrared body scan device called Rich Tech. And again, you can reach out to your Hill & Marks sales representative for additional information. We also have a webinar later today with Rich Tech that they'll be taking our sales team as well as customers through this technology later today. But this is a device, we are using it at Hill & Marks at our facility. You walk up to the pedestal, and it has facial recognition. It will read your temperature, and it will tell you whether or not you pass or fail. And there's also a way to be able to hook into this and be able to track data and store this information as well. So we've seen it again in our office be used very successfully. It can be used with or without a mask, and again, it's something that we are working on, or we are using and do have in stock right now. From a hands-free device, we continue to talk to our customers about replacing hand dryers and utilizing touch-free towel dispensers. We also have some hands-free options for doors as well as toilet seats. So these are simple add-on devices to the doors that you can either use your forearm or your foot to pull the door open, as long as the door doesn't have a locking mechanism on it. And same with the toilet seat. On the bottom right, you can see the toilet seat comes with a stainless steel handle on the right-hand side that can be raised or lowered, and it's a non-porous surface, so you're not easy to clean and doesn't maintain the virus as some other surfaces would. Something I want to mention too that I neglected to regarding the hand sanitizer, in addition to an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, we have heard from many districts that they are in need of a non-alcohol hand sanitizer specifically for transportation. We do have an option from that same chemical manufacturer that is in Saratoga to provide a non-alcohol hand sanitizer. Something to keep in mind. Next slide, please. Joe mentioned social distancing signs. We have social distancing signs in stock, as well as you can see on the bottom right, a couple of large cones. They're about 3-foot high cones that can be ordered. Again, these are stock items for us right now, and these can be ordered and delivered relatively quickly. Next slide. And lastly, anti-pathogenic products. This is something we're in the process now of securing, and we will have later in the summer, most likely to be coming just before schools are going back into session. These are products that are, one, you can see on the right-hand side is a desk shield. We've had a lot of interest in this product. This is a PET product that has a coating on it that, again, helps to kill viruses and bacteria. It's simply needs to be wiped down on a daily basis with really just a rag just to keep it clean. As Alan was talking about, you need to keep surfaces clean, but again, it continually works to disinfect. And on the left-hand side, we have a tape that can be used to coat door handles, touch points throughout your facilities, desk mats, etc. So if this is something of interest, again, please reach out to your Hill & Mark sales representative. We're going to have more information on this product in the coming week. And again, we know all of you are putting together your plans with the state to submit to the state right now. I would just, as been done prior, I would urge you to, as soon as you know you're going to need product, and as soon as you know that there is going to be needs in your facility, please make sure you're getting those orders in. There are extended lead times on items that are in short supply. We want to make sure we are here for you, continuing to offer solutions as the school year starts and well beyond that. That's everything I have. So thank you, everybody. Katie?
Thank you to everyone for presenting. You guys did a fantastic job. We are a little bit past 11, but we are still open for some questions. So for anyone that has remained on the call that does have any questions for our presenters, please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask, or write in the chat box. We did record this webinar, so we will be sending it out to you via email, and it will be on our website and YouTube page. Is there any questions before we end? I don't think there is.
Katie, I'll just add one thing that you know, for everyone on the call. You know, I mentioned PPE before and how Hill & Mark's traditionally is not a PPE house. That really came from requests from our customers having a need. So I would just put out there that for all of you, if you have a need or you have a problem really that you're looking for a solution, please work with us, work with Hill & Mark's, let your sales rep know what the problem is and what you're trying to solve. And you know, between them and the variety of people that we have working for Hill & Mark's, we will help problem solve for you and come up with a solution. We've been happy to do that for a lot of our customers since March, and have been very successful doing it. So I just encourage all of you to work with us with your problems, and we'll do everything we can to help rectify them for you.
All right.
And
thank you.
Just from my perspective, Katie, real quick, just to tag onto that, Bill, you know, we've said it before, communication is going to be the key with this. So as soon as you guys, from a school perspective, as soon as you know what your plans are going to be and what you're going to need, the earlier that you can communicate that with us, the more proactive we can be, our purchasing team can be, in making sure that we're securing those for you. The last thing we want is, you know, a mad dash and a fire drill 2 days before you're getting ready to open your front doors and not having the items that you need. So the sooner the better would be really helpful on our end.
All right. Thank you, everyone who presented today. We're very appreciative. JP, Luke, Alan, Bill, and Joe. We are very appreciative for you all for joining the webinar and spending your morning with us. And we are hopeful to help you throughout this pandemic, and we will continue to do so. I did want to reiterate, we do have another webinar today at 3 p.m. on the Rich Tech automated thermometer temperature system. So please join that, and you can sign up on our website at hillandmarks.com/back-to-business. So thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thanks,
Thanks everyone.
Katie.
Thank you.